All right, guys, welcome back to the next episode of the Grand Prairie PD podcast. I'm your host, Nate, here with special guest
Fred Bates, special guest host. How many times am I here before I stop being a special guest? That's the
Honestly,
question.
you're good enough, I think, at this point, just put you in charge of it. I'll pop in every now and again. But we're here with Wes, who's here for a second time. Mm-hmm. I think last time you weren't able to share your beautiful face with everybody.
Yeah, I was just audio only.
Back in the good old days.
This is my specialty right here.
Views are going to go way up. Must see TV.
Well, how you been since the last time we talked?
I've been good. How y'all been?
Good, man. We don't get to see each other too much. You're stuck out in schools.
Yeah. Once a year I see you, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I saw the football. I think you texted me about the football stuff.
Yeah.
And my wife this time, she's like, no, not do that again.
Yeah.
She is so much soul parenting. We
Yeah.
worked football games off duty with him.
Right.
And it's a good time, but it's a lot on the wife.
It is. I get it. I understand.
But I understand you have some.
Yeah, I'm just going to, let's do a reintro.
Okay.
First of all, been in law enforcement now how long, total?
This is my 18th year with
Man,
the PD.
you a serious veteran. You know,
I am.
I remember actually when I came over here, you were kind of a newer face, right?
Yeah.
We worked together sometime on nights, and I was just saying that this is the guy I like to work next to because there are some people that create issues and then some people that fix issues. Wes was a fixer.
Yeah, I can't really see you just showing up and being the guy to create issues. Like, even if you tried, like, you have, like, your demeanor's kind of calm, your voice is really low-key.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay, just for my background,
Okay.
what brought you to law enforcement?
What brought me to law enforcement
Background,
was, well, of course, I grew up here in Grand Prairie. I've been here all my life. I was 25 years old, and I needed something to do. I needed a career. I needed to get my life going. I saw the PD got a pretty good raise. I said, why don't I try that out? I was with Parks and Rec at the time. I applied, and here I am, 18
Grand
years
Prairie
later.
Parks and Rec?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Okay.
So I got 23 years with the city tomorrow.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a nice number of years.
Yeah.
When you look back at it, your veteran status. How do you feel today, as opposed to 23 years ago?
I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, been through a lot, but I feel like I'm the same old Wes.
And you really do come across that. Now I promised we were not going to get into this, but I just got to do it one time. Okay, just one time. How about that Luka trade? Can you?
Let's get him riled up a little bit.
He wants to be cool, right?
Yeah.
How about that Luka trade?
My heart still aches.
And the reason I would talk about this because he and I, if I had anybody I could talk basketball with, we would even text back and forth. When Pelicans first came to New Orleans, I was critiquing why the Pelicans? I mean, can we be something stronger?
Yeah.
Can we be a little bit stronger than Pelicans? Now we just Pels, and so I know he's a big basketball fan. I did think about him when this trade happened, so I could imagine what it was like.
It was a rough night. It's been a rough few months. I'm starting to get over it, though.
I got you.
I'm rooting for the Lakers now, so.
I bet if I yell fire, I bet I know what he's going to say next.
Absolutely. When you first started, you wanted something to do. You went. Your academy experience, was that an eye-opener for you going through the academy, feeling what an academy experience is like?
Yeah, it was different because, of course, you graduate high school. I played basketball my whole life. Went to college, played basketball a couple years.
What college?
I went to Navarro, started out. I didn't play there, but then I transferred to Mountain View. I played a year there. And then, of course, you have the 20-year-old mind, you still got it. You can do whatever. You get into the academy, and you're like, oh, these dudes are athletic too. So you're not the cream of the crop anymore. So that was an eye-opener. Of course, you're taking tests again, and you're having to study again, and it was different.
Let me tell you how good my recall is. You were part of a recruiting photo. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I told you his face was that pretty. Yeah. It was you and two other officers. Am I right? Or
I
was it?
can't remember that.
I think I can remember. I
I
don't want to call
remember
their
being-
names, but
yeah.
I remember it was like one of these posters that you put. You put this poster up and everybody wants to join because everybody's so pretty. Right. That's what it was. That's what it was. So I remember that, and then I remember when I first started, you and I worked together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what area you worked?
I worked up in 23 beat at the time,
Yep.
up there in what is it, Nottingham Estates, and
Right.
now 161. 161
Sure.
wasn't there back then.
Sure.
But the northwest side of the city, we can say that.
Who was your favorite FTO?
Probably. You're gonna get me in trouble.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm working to get him in trouble.
Sloan.
Sloan?
Because Sloan was
Okay,
my
Jason
first.
Sloan. Okay.
And Sloan is laid back like me, and
Yeah.
Right.
we got along well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first call?
My first call as a recruit, in training,
recruit, yeah.
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
Okay. Do you remember your first call outside?
Outside? Ooh, that's a tough one, too.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
tend to throw stuff away. Like,
I
I
got
go
you.
do it, and then I'm done with it.
Okay. All right.
Let me ask you. You remember your first call?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it?
It was a rape.
Really?
First call.
Wow.
My FTO said, get the keys. Get the. We didn't have computers, man. Get your notepad. Get this, and let's get
He
in.
didn't get the horse feed.
Yeah, let's get in the car. I was unit 702 or something of that nature, and we were in the 7th District of East New Orleans, and it was a signal 42.
Okay.
Yep, we were heading that way. And it was a report call. Of course, first day, you don't really handle the report. You just kind of, but it was like, man, welcome to the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're like, man, I hope today starts off kind
Yeah.
of slow and rape.
Right. So, so you're one of those, and I think that's good that you take the day and let it go.
Yeah.
There's a psychologist that when we were in school, that we had to go to this particular psychologist, and he said that when he meets with people, because you hear all kinds of things as police officers, we see all kinds of things. But what he said was when people leave the office after their session, he tells them, he bids them adieu. That's go with God, and all of that they share with him, he leaves it out there.
Okay.
And there are a lot of police officers that do not do that. I'm thankful we have mental health issues, mental health teams now to help us with that. So has that been your practice?
I'm just laid back in life. Like this is my job. I go do my job, and when I'm done with it, I don't want to think about it anymore. We'll pick back up tomorrow, and if I need to go through some things I did the previous day, I will, but it won't last long.
Good.
Like I like to. Let me move on to Luka and soccer and all that kind of stuff that I enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of the same way, but it kind of makes me jealous of guys who aren't that way. Like professionally speaking, like I think the guys who have that more old school, probably surely the way that the guys you grew up around as a cop, where it's like the job is everything. Like there's so much better street cops than me because you got guys like Oscar who are going to walk around and be like, oh, I remember that guy. I dealt with him such and such. Whereas you show me a picture of a dude, you're like, hey, did you arrest him last week? I was like, I might have. But again, I've had like 4 shifts since then. The same thing. When I leave, I'm done.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a trade-off. It's like, the mental health is better for sure.
Yeah.
But then like some of those guys who don't have that practice, it's probably not as good for you.
Yeah.
Man, they're good cops.
Yeah. They are.
Similar to when we interviewed Alan, this guy was remembering stuff from 1980 something cases, and there's some cases that I can recall because they were so. You spent time with them because when you do homicide, you spend more time with the same case, right? But call to call, you don't remember it as much. But there's some that I do recall because of they just kind of stood out.
Yeah.
So Do you have any of those?
I got one for you.
Yeah.
You remember that time you were already upstairs.
Now, see, he wants to remember me.
I was still on patrol.
Okay.
And that's back when everybody had to ride out with somebody on patrol. You recall that?
Oh, man, I remember that. I remember I picked him. I said, I'm going to ride with Wes because Wes will keep it smooth. Yeah. We had the wildest night. Go ahead.
We got in a chase that night.
Yeah, we did.
We got in a chase. It wasn't a long chase, but it was a chase nonetheless.
I remember.
And a guy pulled up to his residence. We hopped out on him. We got him, and that was that. And we made the shift report.
Yeah.
Fred got a special shout out from a Chief Dye at the time.
Very cool.
I don't remember the special shout out.
Yeah, he said back in the saddle.
I chose him on purpose. I said I don't want to ride with somebody that's going to be just looking for stuff. I just want to just do my little shift.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Take it easy. And then, here we go. I remember.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
That's one of those things, though. Sometimes you start with that approach, like I want to just take it easy, nothing too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know about you, but like the second something pops off and you're back into it, you realize I remember how to do this.
Yeah.
It's like addicting. It's like, oh no, I want to get back out there.
Yeah.
You go home, talk to
absolutely.
the wife, like, hey, how you feel about patrol? Oh no, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely. It happens that way.
Yeah,
It happens that
yeah.
way. So you're in schools now, and you said how many years?
9.5 years.
Does it seem like it's been 9.5 years?
No, it seems like it was just yesterday I started. Yeah,
That's when you know you're having fun.
yeah, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Okay, so tell us about it. What happens? What's it like?
So I like to describe it as a little city.
Okay.
As I tell people, everything that happens out in Grand Prairie or Dallas or Fort Worth happens in the school. Anything you can think of as a police officer, it happens in the school.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, well, a lot of people I think don't realize that you don't just start being a criminal as an adult. You don't I don't just turn 18 and I'm going to start committing crimes. Like you grow into it, and we get a lot of them early.
Yeah.
That's their mindset. That's what they want to. They want to hustle and they want to sell drugs and do drugs, and that's what we're there to deal with them.
Yeah.
So,
Do you sense the reward? 9 years, you kind of rotated through a few. So have you seen a reward coming from it?
yeah. So every class that graduates and nothing terrible happened, it is rewarded. You get to see the kids walk across the stage when they came in as freshmen, wide-eyed and looking around. They don't know what to do, just happy to be there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're 18 and walking across the stage. That's rewarding.
Yeah.
Okay, good
Yeah.
deal. Any individuals that you think of that come to your mind that you really say to yourself, man, I am happy that lady or that young lady or that young man made it.
I don't have names.
Right. No
But
names, no
yeah,
names.
but I can think
Yeah.
of plenty of kids where it's like, man, I cannot wait till you graduate. Please, can we get this kid on the accelerated pace and get him up out of here? But yeah, we get those.
First of all, I know that the relationships between educators and law enforcement, now I think it's closer, in my opinion, because of the school shootings, more violence in the schools, and those kinds of things. How, without going into trade secrets and details, how are you sensing the relationship and partnership between educators and law enforcement?
I agree with you. It's gotten closer. I mean, they know why we're there for the most part. They know on the worst day, if that comes, we're there to fix it and make sure casualties are minimum or zero, and we're there to handle that business. So they know that there's a lot more criminal investigations going on. So we work very closely when dealing with drugs or assaults or just whatever crimes, like I mentioned. It's a little city, so they know that's why we're there. So, and we also know they have a job to do. Like we talk about it from time to time. It's just two different worlds. We see the worst in society, and they see, well, this is potential. We can fix this, and we know that's not always the case.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So
That's what I was going to ask too. How often do y'all? I I wouldn't say butt heads, but maybe don't see eye to eye as far as like kind of that perspective of no, this he or she did this. You have to hold them accountable, or they're going to continue to do it. Versus that leniency of hoping for the best.
Well, in my 9.5 years, I've learned to just step back. And you're an administrator. Y'all have certain policies y'all have to deal with and procedures y'all have to go through. Let me step back. And if it's a crime, then we got to deal with it. Yeah. If it's administrative, then if y'all want to do anything, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, that's y'all's discretion.
It never adds to frustration on your end, like, man, I'm going to have to deal with this on the back end.
Oh, yeah, it used to. It used to, but now I'm just like,
it is what it is.
I'm just there to, I know my function.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my function.
Yeah.
What high school? Are you at the high school?
Yeah, I'm at Grand Prairie High.
Grand Prairie High. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most, because obviously, like you said, the worst day, obviously that would be the biggest challenge for an SRO. But the worst day is not every day. Hopefully you get through your career, you never have to deal with something like that. But what, on a day-to-day routine basis, what is your most challenging aspect?
Man, that's a good question. Because I don't feel like I'm challenged. Like, for me, it's a mental thing. Like, can I just get through the day? Because there's a lot of lulls in the day where it's like there is nothing going on.
Yeah.
You're standing in the cafeteria for 2 hours, and I get kind of fidgety. Like, man, I need to go outside. I need to walk around. But I can't think of anything where it's like, man, this is taxing on me.
Yeah.
Each day. I mean,
don't you direct traffic every day?
I do.
Yeah. Seems pretty taxing.
Eh.
with my level of patience, it would be taxing.
Well, at least it's one of those gigs where you stay in shape.
Yeah.
When you say, do you feel younger too, being around the kids and make it kind of think younger, feel younger? You hear younger conversations.
In my head, I'm younger, but I also know I'm 43 years old.
Okay.
And I know that we typically don't relate. We can't get on the same level a lot of the time.
Right.
So
I feel like, do they influence your vocabulary at all?
No.
Because some of the stuff they say now is wild.
No, I'm trying to think of anything that they say that I say now, and I can't think of one thing. The stuff that I used to say when I was 15, 16, I still say it now.
Yeah.
What I find is interesting is in the younger generation, in their vocabulary, it changes so much quicker.
Yeah.
We had, if a song, usually it was in a rap song or a song, we kind of kept that in the language for a while.
Yeah.
I think that with them, what was yesterday changes tomorrow, and so they don't have that same,
continuity.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's interesting because I hear stuff and I'm hearing it today, and then tomorrow it means something totally different.
Yeah,
So I'm just gonna stay with what I know.
Yeah. It's hard to catch on to some of the slang terms sometimes, but like you said, because we don't listen to the same thing. I don't listen to whatever new stuff they got now.
Right.
But they start saying, and it's just like, man, what? So you got to kind of go research so you can kind of stay up on stuff that might be useful.
Well, I do know this. I do say standing on 10 toes down, standing on business. I say that. I say that. I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna say the first time I heard glizzy, and you still to this day, you will not convince me you're not talking about a Glock. I don't care. It's not a hot dog or whatever they say it is. That's a Glock. I don't believe you. My kid said cap in a completely unironic way the other day.
Yeah.
I was like waiting for him to like laugh or like, I'm joking, and he was serious.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, and that's the thing about it. That's the exact one that I thought about, cap. Back in the day, cap means, you're ragging on me. You're telling a joke. Now it means something totally different. Yeah, you're lying. Yeah. So he capped on you, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like he came out on you. He did something. Now it means you're lying. Yeah. So
see, I thought it was getting shot. I thought talking about
that's
shooting.
What it used to mean.
And that's when I first heard it. I was like,
he got capped.
You got shot?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. So we went through some changes on the lexicon.
Yeah. Now it's you capping, no cap.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah.
Right.
You cooking? You cooking? Yeah. Let him cook.
Let him cook.
Let him cook.
Let Russ cook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good deal, man. That is does it take patience?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Because you get those kids where they test you. It's like they cuss mom and daddy out, they cuss auntie, they cuss out the principal, the teacher, and then they get to you, and it's like, I'm going to cuss you out too. It's like, okay. You just gotta eat it.
See, again, the changes in law enforcement. Jesus.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been a day.
They're called civil rights.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
No more phone books.
Yeah. Speaking of a case, man, this was my first couple calls with my FTO.
Okay.
Myself and he was my classmate, so both of our FTOs went on this particular call. It was a young man who was talking back to his mother, and my partner's FTO, my classmate's FTO, walked up to this young man and slap.
Oh yeah.
And said, "Don't ever talk to your mother that way again." And mom was saying, "Okay, thank you, officer." Now that would be I ain't complain.
Oh man,
It's just bang shame.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll tell you what though, working in the part of town I used to work in, you would have parents ask you to do that, like straight up,
Yeah.
"Can you just smack?"
Yeah.
Like no, but like I can hang out while you do it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Parents. You run into a lot of them, talk to a lot of them. How is parenting in this year 2025?
There are a lot more parents who are friends with their children nowadays. They are a lot more protective of them without knowing the circumstance behind whatever you've just heard, mom or dad. You don't know the whole story, but they're quick to jump in defense of their kid. And I don't want to speak ill because I'm just not like that. If my kid's teacher said they did something, you did it. So you don't have to prove to me you didn't do it, or I'm believing Miss or Mr. whoever.
Yeah.
And that's just how we're going to do it because that's how it was when I grew up.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
When they call home, you did something.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
That's what I tell my kid because my middle kid has gotten in trouble a couple of times, and it's like you like, especially we're having this issue a couple or 3 times in a row. Like you're telling me out of 30 kids, they're just picking you like specifically. And I'm sure you'll eventually come across a teacher or something that's unreliable or doesn't report accurately.
yeah, we got that.
And if that does happen, then I'll address that. But I always tell them like, dude, you don't just get randomly like when we're it's probably because of our job. You like someone's walking home like I was walking home and this guy started mother and we started a fight.
Yeah,
I was like, that actually happened because that's never happened to me. Are you sure? And it's like no, actually all this other stuff happened.
Yeah, it's different. My mama and daddy to where these mamas and daddies are now is night and day.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still have parents who are kind of old school and they do it how it used to be done, and they are a joy to work with.
Do you see a difference? Do you see a difference there, like between the result of the kids?
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah. The parents who are involved and hold their kids accountable, you can tell, versus the ones who you can't get them on the phone. When kid does something wrong, you can't get them on the phone. But if kid call them and say, hey, mama, this person picking on me, they up at the school like they don't have no job.
Right.
So, yeah, you see a difference.
Yeah.
That was a good question, and that's good insight. You would hope that we could see some changes because a lot of times we would say, but in police work, this stuff starts at home. Police cannot parent, and I think what it does is puts so much more pressure on the law enforcement community. Excuse me, because they're asking law enforcement to be psychologists, sociologists, parents, and everything.
Yeah.
When really that's not the official assignment, original assignment.
Yeah.
So I think parenting, a lot of it starts at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But then you have so much dysfunction at homes. That's the issue. Because we see that on the other end. You go to homes. I remember a call. I went. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. It was in some kind of domestic. Man, when I knocked on the door, opened the door, and I was greeted by 3 or 4 kids, man, and about 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
Hello, officer. This is like 3 or 4 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning, and I'm wondering, okay, I never remember seeing 3 o'clock in the morning as a kid. I don't care what was going on. So think about the dysfunction that's there that translates over to where you are on a school day and what teachers actually have to deal with.
Yeah, and you try to keep that in mind that not everybody's growing up with mom and dad in a $400,000 house eating 3 square meals and getting 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Everybody's got something going on, and you try to take that into account when dealing with the kid. But everybody's got a story, and we all have to live life and try to live life the right way. So, yeah, you have your bad days and bad moments, but there are consequences to your actions, good and bad.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to South Grand Prairie High.
So how does it feel policing in the same system that brought you up?
It feels good. I'm sorry, I have nothing but good things to say about the Grand Prairie Independent School District.
Okay, that's an official disclaimer.
Turn on the customer service voice for a second.
I love them. They produced my mother and father, my sister, myself, a lot of my family.
Generations.
Yeah,
generation.
yeah. Okay. My grandmother went to Dalworth High School back when it was a high school.
Wow.
Yeah, so
you stayed. That is very different for the Metroplex. New Orleans, that wouldn't be that would be known. That would be normal. But for the Metroplex, that's a very unique deal that you just stayed. You went to school, grew up, and worked, and basically you just Grand Prairie
I'm
for
Grand
life.
Prairie, maybe for life.
Grand Prairie born, Grand Prairie raised. When he die, he'll be Grand Prairie dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal.
That's me.
That's good deal. Good deal. You have children?
I do. I have 2 little girls, one 13, one 11.
Are they at the GPISD?
No.
Another disclaimer.
What's good for me is not necessarily good for my kids.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Good.
Yeah.
What about your SRO colleagues? Do you guys talk among yourselves and sharing? I know you share information, of course, but share challenges and whatnot. So how does that? I guess that camaraderie work around with each other? Because I know y'all do go back and forth sometimes, right? Or you just basically stay on campus?
No, we stay on campus. So high schools, we're there unless we have to APAL somebody, arrest somebody.
Okay.
We're there. Middle schools, they are responsible for elementary schools too. So if they get a call, hey, this is happening, they gotta have to go over there. So yeah, but yeah, we communicate. If there's a new vape out we haven't seen, or if some kid is hiding this there, and hey, we got this today. Y'all know this kid, and yeah, I mean it's funny because now we're getting other agencies reach out to us like, hey, these kids were wearing this shirt over in our school. Anybody know them? So yeah, I mean we communicate regularly.
So basically, going back to your first comment, it's like a little city. Your city is really talking to other schools, which are like little cities, and so you're communicating because that's what happens. I think in this DFW area, we have to communicate because we don't have they don't know borders.
Yeah, exactly. We had kids earlier this year end up at Carter or Dallas Skyline, one of those. It's like we have video of them over there, and then of course kids come from Arlington all the time on our campuses, and they just, of course, they have friends, or they want to
just show up to school.
They just show up. They don't go here. I want to fight this person. We've had that over the years. So
interesting.
Now, on the camaraderie aspect, that's one of the things that's always struck me about SRO. Is do you feel like it's isolating sometimes? Because I know when I put in for the position at one point, and that was one of my hesitations was like I enjoyed so the interactions with my peers and whatnot. Do you find it to be isolating being around civilians more than law enforcement?
No, because I have a partner. Officer Dye's up there with me. So it's me and her, and we always say we all we got. So
Okay, well, you have one. You have, man, they gave you one of the best.
yeah.
No wonder you so laid back. You have a good partner, okay?
Yeah.
You're not stressed.
No, not at all. So I can't speak in isolation.
Sure.
Because I get to talk to her every day. But even if I was, I like being alone. So if you don't talk to me, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I like my own company.
That's why I like being that one-man car, man.
Yeah.
You're just by yourself all the time.
See, dude, I don't like it, man.
I loved it, man.
Well, I say that. I don't like it as much as I like having a partner. Now, I don't miss showing up to detail and like your partner's gone and then looking at the sheet being like, okay, I'm with this guy today.
Yeah.
I don't miss that.
Yeah.
But I do miss
Yeah.
like you get in the car every day with the same partner. You do I miss the shit out of that.
Yeah. It's I notice when she's not there.
Okay.
Yeah.
When in the cafeteria it's 2 hours. You just standing around and it's just like at least you have somebody to talk to. We talk about sports and this and that and it's good to have.
Not to get in her business, but she played basketball too, right?
Yeah.
So that's
So
Now, do you think that of the two of you, which one do you think the students take more seriously?
it's funny you say that because she'll say she's the mean one and I'm the nice one, and I say vice versa.
I would say she's the mean one. She's really nice, but I think she comes across meaner.
Yeah.
You just so nice looking and easy going.
Yeah.
I think she had some intensity. With her. Yeah.
I'm nice, and then when I have to turn it on,
You turn it on?
When I get mad,
Oh, what?
it's like that.
Oh,
So if you get me there, you deserved it.
Yeah.
okay.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I promise you it wasn't me because I didn't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever you did, you deserve whatever came out of my mouth.
Yeah, just a very little bit of experience I had working with you, just doing that, the football stuff.
Yeah.
And like that one dude we were dealing with, I don't remember the exact circumstances, but he was just, he knew the president of the United States. He's going to have our jobs. He's going to do this, that, and the other. And I realized pretty quickly in the way that you were interacting with him, it would be to everyone's benefit to just kind of let you do your thing. And then if I need to tag in, I could do that. But I was like, the restraint and the lack of annoyance you had with him. Because I was annoyed. I was sitting there, I'm like, just shut up. Like, let's go. Let's arrest him. And you,
Sometimes too much talking is being done.
Yeah.
So let's just get to the business. If this is where you want to go, let's just get there.
Yep.
I think too that comes with age and experience. Because after a while, you realize this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
This person has bad understanding, and we're not going to. He's not going to come around today. She's not going to come around today. So why am I going to waste all my time?
Yeah.
I know how the story ends.
Exactly.
So let's just get to the end of the book.
Right. High school athletics. What you're seeing these days in relationship to young men, young women, especially those that may have an inkling towards law enforcement. What are you seeing?
High school athletics.
Do I need to throw a disclaimer on that one?
Look, I'm just going to make a blanket statement.
Okay.
Kids nowadays are different than when we grew up.
I think we're seeing that big time.
I hear a lot of kids missing practice for whatever reason. I would never miss practice. I can miss a lot of things, but I'm not missing practice because I know I'm probably not going to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to care. And they'll miss practice and then they expect to play, and then the coach will have a conflict because they don't grasp the fact you don't even know what's going on. You weren't even here.
Right.
So that's a big thing. And they make a lot of excuses. They don't want to fight through like little things like my stomach hurts, or I gotta go do this, or I gotta go do that. Just
dude, my 11-year-old last night, he had baseball practice, and he's like, I don't want to go to practice. I'm like, why? Because he had a terrible hitting slump. 51 consecutive at-bats without a hit.
okay.
I mean, like, he's probably only on the team because he's so good defensively. And he broke out of it this past weekend on top of the world. And he doesn't want to go to his next practice. And I'm like, are you out of your mind? Like, you want to go back to doing that?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it's not that I want to. I got hit in the head with a basketball today, and I don't feel too good. I was like, what sport have you begging me to let? I was like, what sport do you want to play all the time? In fact, it's the same one who came out to watch the football with us.
Yeah.
And he's like, football? I was like, and you got bumped in the head with a basketball and you don't want to go to practice? Like, you wouldn't last 15 minutes on a football field. You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Like, get your practice.
It seems like a lot of them are like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then they want scholarships.
Is it a generational thing? Is it entitlement? What is it?
I don't know.
I think it on my end, I think it's kind of a reaction. I think it's kind of a natural progression of the way at least I was raised, as far as like kind of hard. And not because like I think I was raised poorly, because I don't at all.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for having been raised that way. It's served me very well, especially in this job. But I think there's just kind of a natural progression or reaction to it, to where we're a little bit softer to our kids. And because like my wife will call me out on it sometimes. She's like, "Why are you being such a pushover?" You're right. Get out there. I was like, I think sometimes we accidentally foster that. A little bit with a little bit of softness of our own.
It's definitely different. I hear all the time say, coaches, I'm meeting with this parent, or this kid went and told their parent this, and now I got to meet with them. It's like, I never told my parents anything that transpired in my basketball practices. And even if I did, I don't see them coming up to me with my basketball coach and say, "Hey, why isn't Wesley playing?"
Right.
Like, he ain't playing because he ain't good enough. Like, he didn't put in the work. But they come and they advocate for their kids. And you know how high school is. You're transferring around 3 or 4 schools just so you can get some playing time. And I mean, your child is who they are. They are who they are. If they're good enough, they're going to play. If they're good enough, they're going to get a scholarship. You hopping around the school shopping is not going to – I mean, they can find your kid amongst 3,000 other kids if they want to give them a scholarship. They don't have to go and be the star of whatever, and because coaches evaluate. Like, they know what's real and what's fake.
Yeah.
Your 25 points a game is different over here than your 12 points a game is over here. Right. So
you think that they see through that crap?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Because I've recently been exposed to it. My kid was being in sports, but the like holding kids back is a thing.
Yeah, I heard
blows
about that.
my mind. Yeah, completely blows my mind.
Yeah. You mean keeping them back a grade?
Yes.
Is that
for
something?
sports? Yes.
Wow.
And then two, like playing grade exemptions. I don't understand how or why being in travel sports.
Yeah.
And you probably edit this out, but like, just, if you're an idiot, why that means that you get to play at a lower level makes no sense to me. It's like, if you're a 12-year-old body and you're up there playing against 10-year-olds, like, I don't care what your grade is. Like, you don't know how to do long division?
Yeah.
Cool. Can you hit a baseball?
Exactly.
Yeah. Not fair.
Not fair.
Makes no sense to me. But yeah, it's
fair.
a whole thing. People like doing it with the birthdays and the grades. It's wild.
It's weird. I just know when I was in school, I wouldn't go in any other school but South Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
That's where we lived.
Right.
My mama wouldn't take me to Cedar Hill because this. I wasn't going up to Grand Prairie High. If you can get to South, that's where you're going. I can't get you anywhere else. But these parents come from other cities to go wherever. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Now, do you see a benefit to it as far as like quality of coaching, like going to find a better program?
Yeah, but adversity. I mean, like I just go back to, if you're good enough,
Yeah, you'll be good enough.
you'll be good enough.
But aren't you seeing it? I wonder if it went from college down or if it went from high school up, because you're seeing the same thing in college. Because of that new portal. Yeah, so you're starting to see the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, you could see, man, there was a time when you knew this guy went to Penn State, this guy went to LSU.
Yeah.
Now, went to LSU, Penn State, Alabama, and then they spent some time, it's just like.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, different.
It's a lot different.
What's y'all's take on that? 'Cause I've had some conversations with guys recently about that. I can definitely see both sides. I can see kind of that traditionalist view, kind of like back in the day. You had your franchise players, but like me now, as I'm in my 30s, I'm raising a family, and I used to kind of have that perspective. Oh, you're just doing it for the money.
Yeah.
And now I have the perspective that I'm like, no, you're doing it for the money.
Yeah.
Like, of course, like
Yeah.
if you're gonna have the chance to give your kids and their kids a different life,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
It's because coaches used to do it, right? You recruit me to your program, and then all of a sudden you're gone because you have a better deal.
Yeah.
Right.
I have no problem with that. The only thing I think it does, it affects the overall product because you have
Like the brand of the actual institution.
the brand. College basketball is nothing like it used to be.
No, it's not.
Nothing like it used to be. You used to have the perennials, but now the perennials are no longer what they used to be. You have your mid schools, your Villanova, your St. John's. They're stronger because they can keep guys together longer. And so you see those teams. That's why I'm not going to give that away because everybody's going to try to copy my brackets. I don't pick the big. I pick schools that have guys that have been there together a longer period of time, more veterans, not the one and done deal.
Yeah.
That's those super teams that are getting put together.
Yeah.
It's getting ridiculous because I get the whole money making thing, and I want them to make money. But when you're 25 years old and you're playing against a 17-year-old, I have a problem with that. Because,
How do you mean?
Because you've been through so many programs, you've had a red shirt year, and you've had all these medical exemptions. So now you're 25 years old. I just saw a guy yesterday transferring from Auburn to I forget what school. He's 25. So he's transferring here, but he's going to be playing against the upcoming freshmen at whatever school. And I
didn't think about that.
You can't go to the NBA because you're not good enough.
Right.
But, I get it. You can still make money here. So I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. For $1 million, I'd do it. But
so you basically have like mini professionals.
Yeah, that's what it
playing
is.
It's basically my beloved Saints drafted second round quarterback, 26 years old from Louisville.
Yeah.
26. So he's 26. I mean, you have guys in the league that are younger.
Exactly.
Than you, So interesting.
It's a different landscape.
Yeah, because I feel like you heard about somebody that was late 20s in college. They're either alcoholics or they're like veterans. Like they did time in the military. Now they're coming in to get their GI Bill or whatever.
I think you can go to a JUCO now and it doesn't even count towards your eligibility at a 4-year school. So you have
really
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Are you doing some recruiting at the schools? You see some guy, you see some young lady that they have what it takes. You ever do any of that?
I don't do that, but when kids come up to me and ask me, I'll tell them whatever they want to know about this profession because I put myself in their shoes. When I was 16, I don't want to be no cop. I'm not thinking about that.
So you in 16, you didn't want to be a police?
Definitely not.
Man, when Miami Vice came out, that's all I wanted to do. Hill Street Blues, man, that was my, that's all I wanted to do. Miami Vice, I wanted to be I wanted to be Crockett and Tubbs.
Oh yeah. When I was 16, I thought I was going to the NBA when I was 16. Right. So I was still on that. So, but if they come up to me and ask, I'll let them know.
How often does it happen?
Not very often. I'd say a few times a year.
Yeah.
We have the explorers up there, and they'll come talk to us or whatever. But they already have that mindset of law enforcement. What you typically get is toward the end of the school year, you'll get some senior, and he's like, "Hey," or she, "Hey, I'm thinking about being a cop. What do I need to do?" And then you answer their questions.
You're like, "I arrested you 3 times."
Yeah,
Are you sure?
We have had that.
Yeah. Have you seen anybody in nine and a half years go into law enforcement?
Yeah, I saw a girl, Alondra. She was in our Explorer program. She's over at DeSoto. I think she's still there. And I think she still works in the jail. But she's aspiring. There's a couple other kids that are still trying to make it there.
Okay.
So
good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal.
What I know we always ask this about guys in an SRO role. Like, what's the craziest thing you had to deal with? Where you're just like, I can't believe I'm actually doing this right now.
Man, that's a good question. I'm not surprised by drugs anymore. I'm not surprised by assaults. Man, I don't know. I don't know. I know there's some things in the back of my mind that, I was like, man, I can't believe I'm dealing with this, but I can't. It doesn't come to mind right now.
Well, I have one that I'm still surprised as a police officer, and I'm still surprised when I see it on the news, and that is teachers involving themselves with students.
Oh, yeah.
Have you dealt with that?
Not directly. There have been a few on our campus where next thing you know, they're not there anymore, and child crimes has come to get them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I remember now my teachers could not do what they did then. They would give us rides.
Okay. Yeah.
They would pick us up and bring us places, bring us to their homes.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I had a teacher who brought me to. He actually changed our lives. He brought myself, and two of my friends after school. Called our mom, said, "Hey, I'm bringing them over to another campus," and set us up with Upward Bound, the Upward Bound program.
Okay.
Change the course and direction of our lives. But teachers can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But even at that time, I didn't hear about the number of incidents that we hear about it today. It's amazing.
It is. And I don't know if that's because we got social media now, so we know about everything now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
That's correct.
possibly it was happening and we didn't know about it.
Correct assessment.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. That's kind of the big question with our job and misconduct is you kind of had the two schools of thought. You're like, man, are cops more abusive now than they used to be? Or then you had the other school of thought that's like, nah, it's always been like this. Y'all just didn't see it.
Yeah.
Dude, I went to the printer because I'm working the same floor as child crimes and everybody else. So I went to the printer one time, and we all use the same one. And we're kind of get our stuff unmixed from each other. Pulled out a case packet from child crimes and knew the guy. I served with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap. And of course, curiosity being what it is, I read the affidavit and I was like, blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, golly, like this crap is everywhere.
Yeah. It is.
Social media, you brought it up. How have you navigated being a school resource officer in the land of social media?
So we used to have where kids could have their phones. Now they're supposed to put them in these yonder pouches for the whole day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Good.
They're supposed to. It doesn't always happen. But now you see, so that started this year. Last year, previous years, all you would see is kids in a corner making TikToks or Instagrams. And I'm like, man.
Terrible idea.
Y'all think people care? Y'all got 3 followers. And your followers are in the video with you. So what do y'all? I don't.
Still not as bad as people who record. Still not as bad as people who record themselves in the gym, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Social media has opened my eyes to a lot because I have a lot of opinions.
Okay.
But I don't
share.
Yeah, I don't share them. Like people don't care what I think.
Yeah.
I'm just a cop from Grand Prairie, but everybody thinks that they need to tell everybody what they feel at all times, and I'm just like, man. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever you think it. But you don't have to share it with everybody because you get to learn a lot about somebody.
Dude, it's kind of ruined social media because I used to really enjoy social media. Like all the funny stuff and keeping up with people's kids and the sports and it was enjoyable. And now I don't know if it's like I'm getting old enough where everyone I'm around is getting to make that transition into where they just rant about stuff on social media all the time now. But it's like I don't even get on anymore.
Yeah.
Like Facebook, I don't touch.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of just crap. Speaking of which, if you could get kids back on Facebook, that would be awesome. Because I used to not even really have to work to solve anything.
Oh, yeah.
I would just log on to Facebook. They'd be like, this person might have done it. Log into Facebook, and they'd be like, yes, I did this thing. Here's a picture. I'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
File the case. And now everyone's on Instagram. You can't find them.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of underscores and hashtags and everything else. It's like,
Yeah.
Nobody uses their real names.
The gift and the curse.
Yeah.
Social media.
I didn't realize how spoiled I was for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was Facebook made it so easy.
Are you a social media person?
I have social media accounts. I just look through. I don't post anything because I don't want you to know what I think, and you don't care what I think.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Good deal. Good deal, man. Man, it's good catching up with you.
Good catching
Yeah,
up with you.
we don't see each other often.
Yeah.
I guess I have. Do you have any more questions?
No,
Okay, I have a final question.
Okay.
What do you think about that Luka trade?
Oh, man.
Do you think people would have cared about what you thought about posting on social media? Can I find you on social media on that one?
Oh, man. Ugh.
Can I find your social
You
media on that
cannot.
one? No,
You cannot.
You didn't at least post a number, a
Nope.
picture, nothing.
Nothing.
No crying face.
No. It was an anger face. No
Anger
crying.
face? Okay.
Stole my joy.
I got you. If you, and my last question for real. If you had a choice,
Mm-hmm.
if you had a choice, I'm not saying any chief or sergeant or anything. If you had a choice, would you finish your career at SRO? If it was your choice,
That's 100% my goal.
is that right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. Edit that out because I don't want nobody to come back and
Yeah, right. I got nothing to do
We
with
know
it, I
how
promise.
to, we know how to get Wes to do what we need to do. You're no longer an SRO. No, but that's good. That means, and I love what you said. I love what you said in the beginning. You don't feel like it's been that amount of time because really, when it's that kind of a job, you do not feel like you're at work, or you feel like you might be at work, but the time is not a drudgery.
It's not.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. So you found your calling.
I think
Police
so.
work, SRO, at least for now.
I think so. Yeah.
Coaching in your future?
No. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No, you
Right,
remember
there's
what we
a-
talked about?
there was-
Right.
right.
No.
There's a backstory to that,
No.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right, well, I appreciate it, man.
Thank
I
y'all.
appreciate you, Fred.
Hey, man, it's always good. It's
it is.
always
Good
good.
times.
Don't call me a guest anymore. I feel like I'm just
I
hanging
feel like
out.
I feel like you're just a host. We'll just,
I'm in here.
You're in there.
Yeah.
I'll be the co-bald guy. But all right, guys, till next time.
Yeah.